Ever wonder why the US seems so concerned about the rise of China? One big reason is China's incredible infrastructure, which is transforming the country into a global powerhouse. Take its high-speed rail network, for instance. It's the largest in the world, spanning over 42,000 kilometers, and can whisk passengers from Beijing to Shanghai, a distance of 1,300 kilometers, in just under 5 hours. Compare that to the US, where high-speed rail barely exists. China's not just leading in railways, though. Its highways stretch over 160,000 kilometers, making it the longest in the world, and its ports, like the one in Shanghai, are among the busiest on the planet. China's cities are also jaw-dropping. Shanghai, Shenzhen, and other urban centers are packed with futuristic skyscrapers and smart city technology. In fact, between 2011 and 2013, China used more cement than the US did in the entire 20th century, about 6.6 gigatons. And let's not forget the Belt and Road Initiative, China's ambitious global infrastructure project. The BRI has already seen over 2,000 projects completed, from roads to ports, across more than 140 countries. By building new trade routes and connections across Asia, Europe, and Africa, China is reshaping global trade and positioning itself as a central player in the world economy. So the big question is, how did China get so good at building infrastructure? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into in this video. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support. All right, now let's break down why China is leading the world in infrastructure development. How did China manage to become the world's infrastructure giant, practically leaving other nations in the dust? It boils down to a mix of bold investments, rapid execution, and an all-in commitment to long-term planning. What's fascinating is how China has transformed itself from a developing country to an infrastructure powerhouse in just a few decades. If you've ever wondered how they've pulled it off, let's break it down. First, China made a strategic decision to invest heavily in infrastructure early on. We're talking about billions upon billions of dollars. China allocates over 8% of its GDP to infrastructure projects every year. Compare that to the US, which only spends about 2.4% of its GDP. That difference alone explains a lot. For decades, China has been pouring money into building up its cities, transportation networks, and public facilities. Take their high-speed rail system. It's nothing short of remarkable. China's high-speed rail network is not only the largest in the world, stretching over 42,000 kilometers, but it's also super efficient. Trains can zoom across the country at speeds of up to 350 kilometers per hour. A trip from Beijing to Shanghai, roughly 1,300 kilometers, takes just under 5 hours. In contrast, US train travel is far slower and less developed. Amtrak, the US's main passenger rail service, has only one high-speed route, the Acela, but it maxes out at 240 kilometers per hour and covers a tiny fraction of the distance. And it's not just about trains. China's highways span over 160,000 kilometers, which is the longest highway system in the world. For comparison, the US interstate highway system, while impressive, covers about 78,000 kilometers. China's highway network is designed to connect the country's remote regions to its bustling megacities, ensuring that no area is left behind in the country's race to modernize. These roads are essential for linking industries and supporting China's enormous manufacturing sector. Then there's China's ports, some of the busiest and most advanced on the planet. The port of Shanghai, for instance, is the busiest container port in the world. It handled over 47 million TEUs in 2022. Compare that to the port of Los Angeles, the busiest port in the US, which handled around 10 million TEUs in the same year. China's ports are crucial for its role as the world's factory, efficiently exporting goods to all corners of the globe. Their ability to move products quickly and efficiently is a key reason why China remains a global manufacturing hub. China's urban infrastructure is equally impressive. The country has built entire megacities from scratch in a matter of decades. Cities like Shenzhen, once a small fishing village, are now home to millions of people, filled with skyscrapers, advanced public transport, and cutting-edge technology. China's cities are designed with smart city features like facial recognition, cashless payments, and AI-driven traffic systems. And let's not forget about the sheer scale of construction. Between 2011 and 2013 alone, China used more cement than the United States did in the entire 20th century, around 6.6 gigatons. That's a staggering amount of building material used to construct roads, bridges, airports, and cities that have reshaped the country's landscape. But what truly sets China apart is its long-term vision. The Belt and Road Initiative is a shining example of this. Launched in 2013, the BRI is one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in history. It's aimed at creating a vast network of trade routes linking China to countries across Asia, Europe, and Africa. Over $1 trillion has been invested in more than 2,000 projects spanning over 140 countries. This includes everything from railways and highways to ports and power plants, all designed to enhance connectivity and boost trade. The BRI is about more than just infrastructure. It's about increasing China's influence on the global stage. By financing and constructing these projects, China is creating economic ties that strengthen its political and economic relationships across the globe. While China has been racing ahead, many other countries, including the US, have been slow to keep up. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave the US infrastructure a C in its 2021 report card, citing outdated bridges, roads in disrepair, and congested airports as major problems. Although the US is starting to address these issues with recent infrastructure bills, it's playing catch-up to China's head start. For example, while China is rolling out 5G networks and building entire smart cities, the US is still struggling to repair aging infrastructure and build high-speed rail lines that have been stuck in the planning stages for years. China's rapid development isn't just about building infrastructure for today, it's about positioning the country for the future. Whether it's through massive railways that crisscross the nation, modern ports that keep global trade moving, or futuristic cities designed to house millions, China's infrastructure is a key driver of its economic success. As it continues to invest heavily in both domestic and global infrastructure projects, China is laying the foundation for a future where it remains a dominant force in the global economy. So, have you ever wondered why the US seems so worried about China's rise? One of the key reasons is China's incredible infrastructure. It's been a huge driver behind their rapid economic growth, putting them in serious competition with the US. And if China keeps developing at this pace, it could eventually overtake the US as the world's largest economy. What do you think? Do you agree with this take? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.